Good morning, everybody. Benjamin from Santorini, aka Santorini Travel Advisor. So I've stopped on our daily spot shot. That's where we're going right now. Today, for a reason, there are so many boats in the caldera, and I'm gonna have to show you. So many boats today. I don't know why. I think because we had some bad weather the last days, that everybody got the chance to go out right now. And I also have to fix this thing here. So just got something to eat, because you know where we're going. Who likes wine? Who likes wine? I like wine, but it's very early in the day, so I have to eat something. Even tasting wine can make you dizzy. So we're going to the Karamolegkos Winery today. So guys, here we are at the Artemis Karamolegkos Winery, which is on the main road to Kamari. As you can see, the main road. A lot of cars passing by here. So it's Artemis Karamolegkos Winery, and there's also the restaurant Aroma Avlis, which is a very nice restaurant. So if you are in the area, check it out. And now let's go inside and see what's happening here. So when you come to Artemis Karamolegkos Winery, you can have a tour. The tour is free of charge, and then you can also have a tasting. They have a standard of 4 wines, which costs €8, so that's €2 per glass. And if you want more, it is €1.5 extra. You can also ask for a cold plate to go with that, which again is extra, but the prices are very good and normal. So this here behind me is the green garden of the restaurant Aroma Avlis. So they plant as much as they can to use in their restaurant, which is, I think, quite unique for the island. Maybe many of you have heard that in major restaurants in the States or in Europe, but this is really not happening here, and that's just very good. So you know what quality they have in the restaurant. So guys, this is the second tasting area of the winery. As you can see behind me, This is one of the old presses that they had back in the day. So they were filling this up with grapes, and then they were screwing this thing down, and that would press the grapes, and that would produce the juice. And they also had like this areas right here where you can see. So these were all filled with the grapes again, and they were stepping on it with their bare feet, and that was also producing the juices, which then would end up in here. And from there, then they would take that and ferment it and whatever, how, and then they made wine. So this is where you wash your feet before and after. And this thing here right behind me, right there, is where they make their toooooooo, it's called here in Greece. So this is where they boil the wines after wine producing. So the rest get in this tank here and it gets boiled, and then you get a very, very high alcohol drink, which is called toooooooo. And then we go in this area here where we have the barrels. So these are all old barrels. They have been used for white wines and red wines, and the sweet wine that we have here in Santorini, which is called Vinsanto. Vinsanto is made from white grapes, which lay in the sun. We're going to be here next month, like August, to see how they do the harvest, and after that how they actually make Vinsanto, which is the specialty of Santorini, along with Assyrtiko, which is one of the most famous grapes in Greece now. So there's a third option of having a wine tasting in this winery, and that's just behind me, and that's where we're going right now. You know what else you can find in a winery? A donkey. Since we have permission to go around the winery, let's see what's behind that door. So these rooms here are climate controlled, of course, and they are for aging the vintages of the wines that are able to be aged. That's Vinsanto, most of the whites that have Assyrtiko in them, and of course the reds, which are made for aging, because not all reds are made for aging. So yeah, that's a very, very nice section of the winery. It's really cold in here. And this here is a new wine called Aperitifs. Maybe we're gonna be able to try some on our tasting later on. And this is the area where they have the inox tanks where the juice of the grapes comes the first time after the smashing of the grapes. So we have real big tanks here. The smallest one is 9 tons. That's 9,000 kilograms. And the biggest one is 15,000 kilograms, which is about 30,000 pounds. And as you can see, many of them are empty, and it's because it's July now, and most of the wine that's been produced last year is already being sold, which is good for the winery, so it means it's very good in business. And There are some which are full, which they're going to use for the vintage wines, which they're going to bottle a couple of months or even later on, which is going to be stored in the cellar that we went before. And here we are in the barrel area, where you can see barrels, French oak barrels, that are being used for the Vinsanto wine. So Vinsanto has to stay in a French oak barrel at least 3 to 5 years, and that is very costly for the wineries, and that makes Vinsanto not a cheap wine, but nevertheless it is one of the best dessert wines you can have. So guys, now we are ready for our wine tasting. We are here with Dimitris Kekas. Dimitris Kekas is the director of the Karamolegkos Winery, and here he is, and let's start and do this.
Hello everybody, my name is Dimitris Kekas. I'm the director of Artemis Karamolegkos Winery. Our premises are at Exogonia, near to Kamari. You can find very easily our winery. You can visit the winery from 11 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock in the evening. You can have a winery tour, a wine tasting. There is a cellar doors to buy some wines around. Also there is a very nice restaurant, Aroma Avlis, close to our winery in the same premises. You can have your dinner or your lunch, and you can pair our wines perfectly at our restaurant with all the very interesting plates from our cuisine. So Artemis Karamolegkos Winery, established back at 1952 from grandfather of Artemis Karamolegkos. At 2004, Artemis Karamolegkos, the grandson, changed the whole facilities of the winery. He put around cutting-edge technology with controlled temperature stainless steel tanks, new press machines, and new facilities for the logistics. In our days we're producing 10 labels, and recently we got another one. I'm going to explain you later about this wine. We have 6 whites, 2 reds, 1 rosé, and the famous Vinsanto, of course. Mostly of our labels are PDO Santorini. We have a portfolio of PGI. We call it Terra Nera, that's the commercial name of our portfolio, and of course the famous Vinsanto. In Santorini, in order to call Santorini a wine, must contain at least 75% Assyrtiko, and the rest can be either Aidani or Athiri, of both of them. To have a PDO Nykteri, also we have to have around 75% Assyrtiko, but we have to mature the wine for 3 months in oak barrels, and the alcohol level cannot be less than 13.5%. For the Vinsanto, which is actually a white wine, naturally sweet wine from some grapes, we have to have around 51% Assyrtiko in our wines, and the other 2 varieties can be either Assyrtiko or Aidani, of both of them. Also must be mature for 2 years in oak barrels. Let's start from the Aidani, which is a white variety of the island. No more than 12% of our plantation around. Aidani is a very aromatic, very floral, very botanic variety. Give us wines with middle body but high acidity generally. We can pair it perfectly with salads and white meat. Actually, Aidani is a blending component to our blends according with Assyrtiko and Athiri. We are adding Aidani in order to make more softer wines and also to add some aromatic complexity. Very aromatic, very nice variety. So, for the Assyrtiko, let's start our flight from 100% Assyrtiko, which is a PGI, a protected geographical indignation. Our classification system here is actually the same with the French classification system of Vecuperte. We have the PDO, Protected Designation of Origin Santorini. I explained to you before what must have in order to call a wine PDO. And we have also the Protected Geographical Indignation. Terra belongs in this classification. It must be around from Cyclades area, Crete, Naxos, Paros, and Chios. For the Terra we are using 100% Assyrtiko from our vineyards near to Kamari, and because the altitude is small and very close to the sea, and our vineyards in terms of the island of course are very young, around 30 years old, we prefer to lead it to a label of PGI, not PDO. We start the harvest actually from these vineyards around early August, end of July. We have intense minerality here, high acidity. Saltiness, which is characteristic of the variety of the Assyrtiko because of the minerals. And actually this is a blue box, it's a value for money wine. Next, let's try a Santorini. This is a classic blend from 90% Assyrtiko, 10% Aidani and Athiri. This 10% makes quite a difference in our blends because the wine is more soft, we have more embodied acidity and also very intense minerality. Here we got blossom, lemon, grapefruit and also green apple. The palette is very complex. For the next wine we have 100% Assyrtiko, a Santorini from 100% Assyrtiko. Both of them are of 2016. For all of them we have stainless steel tank fermentation, and we are working with contact lee for 5 months approximately with steering. This is the pure expression of the Assyrtiko, 100% Assyrtiko. The vines here are very old, 80 to 90 years old, from high altitude, from Pyrgos and Megalohori villages. Here we have sharp acidity and intense minerality. You can pair it perfectly with fish, shellfish, seafood generally. It's a great wine, a pure expression of the Assyrtiko variety. So let's go to a barrique expression, Nykteri. Nykteri in Greek language means night work, because the people used to press the grapes during the night in order to avoid warming and oxidation of the grapes. It was the pure, clear wine for them, the most value wine for them. That's why they call it Nykteri. Here we have late harvest grapes, end of August, almost. 90% Assyrtiko, 10% Aidani Athiri. It's the same composition with Santorini. That's why here we have silver dots and gold dots because of the barrel. It is the only wine in our winery with the influence of the barrel, except of course the reds and the Vinsanto. For the whites, for the Nykteri, we have all the characteristics of the Assyrtiko in maximum. And also we have a very soft acidity and minerality, even that we have 16 months maturation in French oak barriques and barrels of 500 liters. You can taste for sure the barrel. Vanilla and all the tannic profile of the barrel, but you cannot smell it easily. It's a very noble vinification. The rosé belongs also to the portfolio of the Terra Nera. Here we got 80% Assyrtiko, white variety, and 20% Madilaria. Madilaria is a red variety of the GNC of Cyclades. We have a very short maceration inside the press machine, around 4 to 6 hours, just to get the color and the aromas of the cherry and the strawberries. Stainless steel fermentation. Neutral yeast is a bone dry wine. It's a dry rosé. You can see it from the color. A great wine for all the Mediterranean delicacies. You can pair it perfectly with all the Mediterranean delicacies. From the portfolio of Terranera also, the first red from Madilaria. Madilaria is a very famous variety of the Cyclades of the Aegean Sea. You can find it in Crete, Paros, Naxos, Chios, Amorgos, Santorini, of course. Give us wines with medium body, high acidity, alcohol level around 12.5 to maximum 13% by volume. We have spicy aromas, complex nose, nice tannins. You can pair it perfectly with light red sauces with meat. For all the whites, the aging potential is around 5 to 7 years from stainless steel tanks, of course, fermentation. For our red Madilaria and the rosé is around 2 to 3 years. And here we have the famous Mavro Tragano, which is Mavro Tragano. It's the black and crunchy, crispy in the Greek language. That's the way it looks, the grapes. It's a very difficult variety, but also give us very interesting and very promising wines. It's a very spicy, very tannic, very complex variety. For sure it's a variety that needs its time for aging in order to express all the profile of the variety. This is a Mavro Tragano of 2014. Here we have 2 years maturation in French oak barriques of 500 liters. It's 100% Mavro Tragano. Mavro Tragano, it doesn't ripen at the same time as the polyphenolic levels, I mean at the skin and at the sugar levels. That's why we have to wait in order to make sure that it's ready to be harvested. That's why the old times the people in Santorini they just go fermented it with Mandilaria, just to be sure that you're gonna have the alcohol level they need it, and of course the tannins they need it sometimes. You can age this wine in the bottle at least for 10 years. Least but not last, for the whites after the reds, for me it's okay, don't worry. We have a very premium wine here. Piritis is another Santorini of our winery from 100% Assyrtiko, but here the vines are very old. We discovered these parcels back at 2015. The vines here are older than 120 years. The biggest parcel comes from Megalochori and the other is from Pyrgos. The elevation here is around 400 meters. We have almost around 2.5 hectares. We work on this wine with contact with lees for 10 months. By steering, of course, we make the blends the next May after the harvest and the bottling around half of July. The aging potential of this wine is 10 plus, in our opinion. It's a wine that it can evolve a lot during the years. I think it's a very interesting wine. This is of 2015. Very complex nose with gunfleet, green apple, grapefruit, white pepper. Very interesting wine. And lastly, let's try the Vinsanto. Vinsanto, as we know, is the third PDO of Santorini. We sun dry the grapes under the sun approximately for 2 weeks, and then we press this resin that remains because all the water evaporates. We have a huge concentration of the sugar. We press the resin, and from this juice inside the stainless steel tanks we ferment the wine. We complete the fermentation inside the stainless steel tanks, and then we mature the wine for 7.5 years, 90 months, in French barrels of 500 liters and French barriques. Every year we are losing a lot of the wine because it evaporates through the barrel, and we have to fill the barrels twice per year with fresh Assyrtiko, of course, of the vintage of dry acidity of the vintage that we have. That's why our Vinsanto have a perfect balance between sugar and acidity. Here we have almost 275 grams of residual sugar per liter and 9.6 to 9.7 tartaric acid grams per liter. Very complex nose, fig, honey, cigar box, coffee, chocolate. %11 alcohol by volume, high acidity, as Mark Squires from Robert Parker's team said. This Vinsanto of Artemis Karamolegkos Winery is like having a bicycle ride down a steep hill without brakes, and when you look down you found there you are. So it's a great Vinsanto. And before I leave you, I'm going to present you our last release. This is the first orange of Santorini from 100% Assyrtiko. We try hard to see what's the features of the Assyrtiko variety. So this is the Mysterio 14. Because the Mysterio, it's for us to see what happens when we have skin contact for so many days. For a white variety like is the Assyrtiko itself, here we got 14 days of skin contact. That's why we name it Mysterio 14, and almost 28 of fermentation to complete the fermentation. And then we left the wine just like that, with very few sulfates, less than 10 grams per liter free sulfates, to evolve and increase all the aromatic complexity of this wine. It's a very rich, very tannic wine with high acidity, minerality of course, and I think that you can pair it perfectly with all the difficult dishes like garlic dishes, cauliflower dishes, or parmesan dishes. It's a great wine, around 14% alcohol by volume. I think that you should try it to see the features of the Assyrtiko variety. Thank you very much for being here with us in Artemis Karamolegkos Winery, and I think that it's going to be very interesting to visit us. We look forward to having you here. Thank you very much.
So guys, this concludes our visit on the Karamolegkos Winery here with my friend Dimitris. I hope you enjoyed it. It was thorough, so you know everything about the wines right now, but it's still an experience to come and visit the winery itself. And if you have the chance and you get hungry, because wine makes hungry, the restaurant Aroma Avlis is just next to the winery. So enjoy, have a good one. Benjamin Deneke from Santorini, aka Santorini Travel Advisor. See you next time.